Hi, in this video, we will solve the second complete comprehensive example in the chapter of dissolution of partnership firm. So let's go to the example sum. Example sum. Prashant and Rajesh were partners in a firm sharing profits in the ratio of 3:2. In spite of repeated reminders by the authorities, they kept dumping hazardous material into a nearby river. The court ordered for the dissolution of their partnership firm on 31st March 2019. Prashant was deputed to realize the assets and to pay off the liabilities. He was paid rupees 1,000 for his services. The financial position of the firm on 31st March 2019 was as follows. To the left of the screen, the balance sheet is given, and on the right, additional information. Following was agreed upon. First point, Prashant agreed to pay off his wife's loan. Second point, debtors realized rupees 24,000. Third point, Rajesh took all investments at rupees 27,000. Point 4, building realized rupees 1,52,000. Point 5, creditors were payable after 2 months. They were paid immediately at 10% discount. Sixth point, bills receivable were settled at a loss of rupees 1,400. And the final point, realization expenses amounted to rupees 2,500. We are asked to prepare the realization account, the partners' capital accounts, and the cash account to close the books of the firm. So we will start with the realization account, followed by there is a partner's loan on the liability side of the balance sheet, Rajesh's loan account. So then we will prepare the partner's capital accounts and then the cash account. Any working notes will be done at the end of the solution. Solution. Realization account. Left side debit side, right side credit side. Particulars. Rupees. Particulars. Rupees. We'll begin by transferring the sundry assets to sundry assets. Transferred. Building 1,20,000 rupees. Investments 30,600 rupees. Debtors 34,000 rupees. Bills receivable 37,400 rupees. And finally, goodwill 4,000 rupees. We'll bring the total of the assets transferred to the outer column. Total of the assets transferred is 2,26,000 rupees. On the credit side of the realization, we'll begin by transferring the provision for doubtful debts. 4,000 rupees by creditor's account, 80,000 rupees Mrs. Prashant's loan, the partner Prashant's spouse's loan, it's an external liability, by Mrs. Prashant loan, account, 40,000 rupees. Rajesh's loan, we'll open a separate account, by investment fluctuation fund, a reserve which is created against the asset, we need to transfer it. ₹8,000. The items are done. We'll go ahead with the additional information. The first point, Prashant agreed to pay off his wife's loan. So, to Prashant, capital account, for Mrs. Prashant's loan. Amount of Mrs. Prashant's loan, 40,000 rupees. Second point, realization of debtors. So by cash account, debtors, 24,000 rupees. We'll come back to the third point, Rajesh taking over asset. Fourth point, building realized, 1,52,000 rupees. Building, 1,52,000 rupees. We'll come back to the fifth point, payment of creditors. The sixth point, bills receivable, were realized at a loss of 1,400 rupees. So the book value is given as 37,400. After subtracting 1,400, we get 36,000 rupees. The seventh point is about the realization expenses. We will come back to that. So total assets realized is 2,12,000 rupees. Next, we'll deal with the third point. It says Rajesh is taking over the investments at rupees 27,000 by Rajesh, capital account, for the investments, 27,000 rupees. The fifth point, payment of creditors to cash account for creditors paid. They are payable after 2 months, but we paid them immediately. So we got a 10% discount, 10% flat rate. So it's 8,000, the amount of discount. So 80,000 minus the discount availed, 8,000 rupees. Amount paid to creditors is 72,000 rupees. Next, we'll deal with the seventh point, payment of realization expenses. Nothing is mentioned, so it's borne by the firm and also paid by the firm. So to cash account, 2,500 rupees. And the last point which we need to deal with, in the first para at the beginning of the sum, it says Prashant was deputed to realize the assets and to pay the liabilities for which he was paid rupees 1,000 commission for his services. So remuneration or commission given to a partner, realization to Prashant capital account. For commission, amount of commission 1000 rupees. It is okay if we leave out an asset, so we needn't check, but we need to check if all the external liabilities have been dealt with. We paid off the creditors, and Prashant has taken over his wife's loan. No other external liability. So we can go ahead and find out the gain or loss on realization. I'll remove the split and we can find out the gain and or loss on realization. We'll total the credit side first. The credit side totals to 3,71,000 rupees. And the debit side totals to 3,41,500 rupees. I'll write the greater total on both sides, 3,71,000 rupees. On subtracting 3,41,500, we get 29,500 gain on realization. Transferred to partners' capital accounts. Prashant and Rajesh. $29,500 is the total gain. Profit sharing ratio 3:2 as per the problem. We need to divide 29,500 in 3:2. On dividing by 5, we get 5,900. For Prashant, it's 5,900 multiplied by 3, which is 17,700 rupees. And 5,900 multiplied by 2, 11,800 rupees in the case of Rajesh. So this is the realization account prepared by us. Next we will go to Rajesh's loan account. Rajesh loan account. Left side debit side and right side credit side. Particulars. Rupees. Particulars. Rupees. We'll bring down the balance of Rajesh's loan account. By balance brought down. It's 24,000 rupees. We'll pay him off. Cash account 24,000 rupees. The account balances and there is nothing left to be paid on account of Rajesh's loan. Next we'll go to the partners' capital accounts. Partners' capital accounts. Left side debit side, right side credit side. We have particulars, a column for Prashant and a column for Rajesh. And on the credit side we have particulars, a column for Prashant and a column for Rajesh. We'll begin by bringing down the balance of the capital accounts. By balance brought down 42,000 for Prashant and 42,000 rupees for Rajesh as well. There's a profit and loss account for rupees 8,000. The asset side of the balance sheet, we need to write it off to profit and loss account. 8,000 to be written off in profit sharing ratio 3:2. Comes up to 4,800 for Prashant and 3,200 for Rajesh. We'll check the realization account for any entries. We have two Prashant's capital account in the realization account for Prashant taking over his wife's loan. So let's insert that. By realization account, for liability taken over, 40,000. Rajesh takes over investments. So to realization account, for asset taken over, 27,000. There's a commission which was given to Prashant. So by realization account, for the commission, 1,000 rupees. And the final entry is for the realization gain. It's 17,700 the case of Prashant and 11,800 in the case of Rajesh. Let's balance the partner's capital account and get the amount of the final settlement. In the case of Prashant, the credit side is greater. Totals to 1,07,000 rupees to cash account for the final settlement. $1,07,000 minus 4,800 rupees, 95,900 rupees balancing figure. In the case of Rajesh also, the credit side is greater. It's 53,800 rupees greater total. The balancing figure is 53,800 minus the total of the debit side for Rajesh comes up to 30,200. So it's 23,600 rupees, the balancing figure. So this is a partner's capital accounts. And finally, let's prepare the cash account. Cash account. left side debit side and right side credit side. We have particulars, rupees, particulars, rupees. Let's bring down the balance of the cash. To balance brought down. Balance of cash 6,000 from the asset side of the balance sheet. We'll go on to the realization account to get the cash entries. On the credit of the realization, total assets realized is 2,12,000 rupees. To realization account, assets realized, total amount realized 2,12,000 rupees. On the debit of the realization, we are paying creditors 72,000 by realization account. Liabilities paid 72,000. Also expenses paid rupees 2,500. So by realization account, expenses 2,500 rupees. We've paid off Rajesh's loan account by Rajesh loan account. Amount paid 24,000 rupees. And again, let's get the figures for the final settlement from the partners' capital accounts. By Prashant, capital account. For the final settlement, 95,900 rupees, and by Rajesh's capital account. Final settlement of Rajesh, 23,600 rupees. Now let's balance this and check if it tallies. The total of the debit side comes to 2,18,000 rupees. And the total of the credit side also comes to 2,18,000 rupees. The cash count tallies, showing that our arithmetic is correct. I'll remove the split and we can view all the accounts together. So we began with the realization account. Followed by Rajesh's loan account. Then the partner's capital account. And finally the cash account. We did not have any working notes for this problem.